It's Ivy Slater, and you're listening to Her Success Story podcast, a show where gutsy businesswomen share their success journey. Hi, it's Ivy Slater with Her Success Story, and welcome back. Welcome back to the subscribers. Thanks for the new-time listeners. We have an amazing interview today. I have a guest that I met several months ago, actually, at an event. And as crazy as it is, we connected, not surprising for the ladies who are listening, I think in the entryway of a bathroom, and immediately sparked a conversation that when I was able to get into her schedule and have her as a guest today on Her Success Story, I was over the moon. Debbi Dachinger is a media visibility expert who works with professionals and entrepreneurs who are ready to take the next big step. These leaders who want to write a page-turner book, take their book to a guaranteed international bestseller, and get scheduled on media interviews. It's so important, guys. People are just putting content out, but how are you leveraging it? This is what Debbi does. Debbi gets her clients to turn their visibility into customers and become the go-to authority in their field. Debbi herself is a speaker. She's featured in numerous places. I could continue to read her bio, but you're going to check out her website and get all the information. I want to bring you now Debbi Dachinger. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you. Woohoo, Ivy. It's so great to be here with you and with all your people. I'm excited.
So, Debbi, number one, were you always this visibility expert? Who are you? I know some of these answers, but people are going to love your journey. So tell us where you started in this.
Yeah, that's such a cool place to start. No, I was totally not a visibility expert at all, although I always had this proclivity to being very visible, meaning being on stage, whether that was singing or performing, playing an instrument. There was something about being in front of people. And at the same time, I actually had a very profound wound around being visible because I grew up in a family where I felt like nobody really cared to see me or hear me. So I felt very self-conscious. So it's really interesting because the most comfortable place I was when I was on stage. And in life, actually being visible, just being me, was where I felt it was very painful. And I believe, I'm a strong believer, Ivy, that where our core wound is actually on the flip side of that is our gift to the world. It's our superpower. So the journey, once we identify whatever that wound is to embrace it, actually. Because embracing it means that we can be very empathetic to anybody going through that. We're probably going to attract clients who need a little of that understanding from us. And also that is for us to put out. So it's also for us to heal. So that's been my journey, really, is that it was always there. It was always something I loved doing. Of course, it's become so many more things like radio and being on a red carpet interviewing celebrities, being in front of a camera. And now I train people to do that, and I have programs for people, and I get them out there through books and media interviews and bestsellers and all of that. So indeed, my core wound was I shouldn't be seen, I shouldn't be heard. What do I have to offer? To finding out I actually have a message and a purpose, and just owning it.
So in creating your brand today, both been in business quite a while, you've been through some transitions. We always like to say, hey, this was easy, but in reality, as we both know, creating a great brand takes dedication. What are some of the challenges you have seen? What are some of the things that you have learned to navigate that can help some of our listeners say, oh, I thought that only happened to me? Isn't that funny?
One of the ones that I want to address, because I think this is really huge for entrepreneurs, and I think this is one of those things that goes on behind closed doors that entrepreneurs don't really want to talk about, but it's money. And of course, that's your expertise. So it's really
Let's
about
talk about the
money,
big green.
right? Being an entrepreneur in the big green is everything, because when you have it, it's awesome. You can pay for your business, you can pay for your team, you can pay yourself, and you're also creating the payment for your benefits and your vacations and all of that. But what happens when you've had a bunch of good months or year and then you don't? Because I know a lot of people right now who are like, whoa, this has been particularly interesting. And so when you don't plan for that and you're so busy spending, I think it's a real problem, and it can become a very panicky time. And I think that's the worst thing for an entrepreneur, because you don't quite know when it's going to end, even though I think in good faith for most of it, of course it does. But I think it's really important to have strategy around that. That is a challenge I faced, and I've absolutely learned from. Like, oh, word, girl, when there's this big flow for a long time. So here's the thing, pulling back the curtain, I'm a spender. I really am. And I have learned you have got to save. And I recommend that to all entrepreneurs, to learn to pull out 10% into a private account that maybe you never touch, to have a percentage you're going to give to a 401 retirement plan, to have a percentage you're going to put away for taxes, to have a business account, a personal account, and just save
Goodness,
something,
you are talking to my heart, girl.
right?
I'm like, oh, thank goodness. I thought we were going to go in so many different directions today. I'll be honest with you, and I'll be honest with the listeners, as I always am. I thought we were going to take this in a different direction, but you're so damn right. As a responsible business owner, you have a responsibility to running your business long term. And in doing that, you have to have a financial plan and a fiscal plan. And that's what Debbi is talking about. She's talking exactly about making sure you're taking a minimum of 10% and moving it into a separate account. And that's not your tax account. That's a separate account. You
That's right.
should have several months of savings in a separate account to float your business in case there's any kind of life disaster that comes on suddenly.
100%.
It's a fiscal responsibility to your own business.
That's right, because we not only bring in the bacon, but we're paying ourselves. So we are our own corporation. And I think it's everything from you have a lean month or two, and so you're good, to like something happened with my car and I need to handle it, or oops, something unexpected with my health and I need to take care of it, or I have a trip I suddenly have to make and the expenses are a little different than I thought. Whatever it is, you need to do this, and I'll tell you why. Because as entrepreneurs, one of the most attractive things about being visible is a sense of confidence, is a sense of feeling like you're prosperous and you got this, and you have an architecture with a baseline that says, I'm well handled and I'm okay to connect with you. And when that's not there, when the bottom is dropped out and you're saying, oh, how am I going to pay for this? And why didn't I plan for this? And this is really stressful. And when is the end going to come? That is the worst position, because actually what you want are clients and followers, and you want to look really enticing, compelling when you're writing a book, when you're being interviewed, when you're in front of a camera or media, on stage. You're not enticing. You are panicky, and people can feel it and smell it. And then you don't want to live like that, period. So I say have a strong base.
Tell me, how did you get into this?
I came here to live out loud.
I have a funny comment that goes, gee, when I was a kid, I dreamed about being a visibility expert. When I was a kid, I didn't even, the only coach I knew was the tennis coach. What are we talking about, right? How did you become known as a visibility expert and the go-to resource to get our brands out there?
Cool. Yeah, I mean, overall, I definitely came here to live out loud. I came here to connect. I'm clear my soul's purpose, like
Mhm.
clear. Connect, communicate, lead, learn. Ta-da. Entertainment is my venue. So although there's been many different aspects of this, I was an actress for a long time, whatever it was, stage, penning a book, being on camera, having my own radio show for 11 years that's syndicated, I did it. And what I came to realize after I became certified as a coach is that people were asking me about what I had. How'd you create your bestseller? Can I work with you? How'd you get booked on interviews and get results? Would you do that for me? Would you coach me? Would you? So I just stepped into where there was a need. It really came to me. It was a very pleasant and accidental career. And everything I do, I coach. Everything I do, I offer people as a done for them service.
So what is a surprise you've seen in this journey? Is it, whether be it with you or a client, what has kind of knocked you and said, oh my God, I didn't see that one coming?
Yeah, I think it's really about where I am, where I have ended up. I couldn't have predicted this. And it is, I don't know if you know about human design,
Mm-hmm.
but
I do. I do. I have a friend who read my who had me. I love it. Go, go, go.
yeah, so now it's actually in hindsight, I've learned recently about my human design. So like I said, accidental career. People kept coming to me and saying, I had a company say, look, we have a publishing wing and we have nobody who can take us to bestseller. Can we just hire you? And I'm like, okay. And that has been boom, 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 every part of my career. Hey, I really want to write a book. Can you coach me to write? And I'm like, my immediate answer, Ivy, is always no, but that's the bubble over my head. And then I'm like, then I think about it and go, well, of course I can. Okay. So now decade
So
later.
hold on. I got to interrupt you here for a second. Okay. Listeners, pay attention. There's a great learning lesson here. And I have to call it out because it's what we forget. We don't necessarily need to go looking for careers or businesses or what should we do next. And coming from a woman who years ago had my own midlife crisis and through that birth Slater Success, my company, it finds us, but are we open to hearing it, to seeing it, to listening to it? This is what Debbie's talking about. She's, 100% saying, oh, somebody asked me to do this. And, like we kind of like, oh, shucks, no, I couldn't do that. And it's like, wait a second, maybe I can. Are we willing to be as open as possible here and really then build our businesses, our lives, and our careers based on that? I needed to point that out, Debbie, because it was beautifully said, and I so wanted to reiterate it. Thank you for, let me give my little 2 cents there.
Yeah, thank you for pointing it out. I agree with you. I really do. Opportunity is everywhere if we'll be still, and not react right away, but just sort of be with something and then the truth comes out. I want to address that human design thing so I don't leave people hanging.
Yes, please.
So in human design, I'm going to make it simple, but of course there's lots to it. So I'm a generator. I'm a 2-4 generator. And what that means is that people have to come for me for me to respond. So I don't get to go out there and say, although I am also like this, but it's really never worked for me. I'm manifesting this, I'm manifesting that. Really, people have to come and say, I need this. Let me give you a few more examples, and everybody can think about their own life. I do something called a visibility strategy session, right? It's only $97 and I do 45 minutes with a person and it's life-changing. People leave with enormous content. So I did it for this guy who's a president of a company. And when he was done, he's like, I didn't know what to expect with a strategy session. First of all, blown away. Second of all, I know I have to work with you. Third of all, this may sound strange, but I already put out a book. I'd like to relaunch it. Will you help me rebrand? Same deal. Go up to the bubble in my head and I'm like, I'm not a marketer. I'm not a brander. What? And then I realized, well, of course I can. He's talking about a new title, totally what I do. A new cover, totally what I do. The inside of the book, totally. So we're already almost on the other side of this rebranding, and it's so in my wheelhouse. So opportunity is always there. And here's another story. How did I get to booking people, sort of like a publicist?
Right.
I met these people at an expo, amazing husband-wife team, and we really had a very strong connection, like amazing connection. And they said, when we left the expo, they got in touch with me and they said, we really want you to book us on interviews, radio, podcast, any media. And I'm like, why would they hire me for that? There's so many publicists out there. So they said, we feel strongly about this. Okay, so I did due diligence. I went out and I found, what do you charge? And I got the price range. And I actually charged just under, because that felt right and light to me. And I went back and gave them the price. We negotiated, and boom, I told them exactly what I deliver, deal and deliver. And so I've been doing it now for a long time, and they are raving fans and keep going to people and say, they call me their agent and they tell other people through referrals about my service. This is another thing I would have never thought of, but I'm finding I can really produce for them every month. Even some of them have, they've opened up big doors, films I got them into and so forth. So it's really been about opportunity coming to me. And then the biggest surprise is what it has led me to. I'm not sure it's the end of the journey yet, that there will be other surprises, but thus far it's been awesome and so surprising.
So for our listeners, okay, and we always look to experts out there, and you have years of expertise in your field. What is a piece of advice or a nugget, a tidbit you might share with our listeners? And I'm not talking necessarily about game. So you could do this on two levels. I'd love you actually to answer this question. Two levels. One, if we could share one professional piece of as far as visibility. Before you do that, tell me one tip, a piece of advice for a growing business, for growing your own business, for being an entrepreneur. What would you share with our audience there?
I really think you need to know, as a growing business, like, why am I doing what I'm doing? And I'm speaking much bigger than a why, quote unquote. I really mean, like, what's your message? What was your wound? Why are you doing this? And when you come out the other side of it, what wisdom do you have that nobody else has? So what piece of the puzzle of heaven here on earth are you here to fill? And that is one of the most powerful ways you will get your tribe to come to you. And the other thing I want to illuminate there is your tribe is often you. So whoever you are.
Expand on that. Please expand on that, because I get you. I want everybody to understand what you mean by that.
Yeah, so you're going to attract the person that you already are. And isn't that awesome? I mean, I think that makes it so simple. So, for example, I'm very, very spiritual, and I'm hungry, right? Tell me, man, put me in the game, boss, put me in the game. I'll do it. Give me the recipe. I'll follow it because I want to get there. So I attract like that. Interestingly enough, at least 60, probably closer now to 70%, but definitely 60% of my clientele is men. And these are men who have done very well. And for some reason, they recognize what's possible. And when I offer them things to do, they grab it and run with it. Then they get excited because of their results. So they come back ready for more. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm saying is it's very like my personality. So it's super easy for me to connect with, love them, serve them, show them the way. They are my tribe. They're people, I would have a glass of wine with. I would have a meal with. I would possibly travel with. That's what I mean by my tribe. We're that connected.
And it's so true. I mean, so I made a decision when I opened Slater Success that I will only do business with people who I really like. Mm-hmm. And it's just, it's what you're saying. It's who I would like to sit down and have a meal with, have a cocktail with, go on an adventure with. Who do I want to surround myself with? Well, you know what? It's like, okay, I've lived this long. When I opened this company, I was in my mid-40s. Today, I'm in my mid-plus 50s. And it's like, I want to have a good time and be with people I really like. How do you feel about that?
That's right. I mean, life is short, right? And we spend a lot of time at business. So I think that's everything. And I also think that opens up a particular energy. When you're with people you like, they can feel it. And they want to be around you. They want to work with you. So I think it's so important. Boy, did I learn early on in being an entrepreneur, because I was so hungry for money that if someone came along that was a pain in the ass, I was like, yeah, sure, I'll work with you. Like, oh God, I need your money. I'll work up with anything.
I get it.
Right? After a couple of those people, is like, that money I made they took with interest from me. So I made a decision, never again, like, cannot. And what's interesting is now, nobody even comes to me who's like that. Like, really spectacular people come to me and I don't even think about it or worry about it. It's like I was so strong, the universe went, awesome. So that's...
So, in this way, give our listeners, our audience today, a little tidbit of what's one little thing they could do to help their visibility along, and then share with us how they can connect to you, because they're going to be so intrigued by this piece of information that they want more.
I want you to know how important PR is. And it is there for free. And most people don't know about it, use it, and they're working so hard on their business. But consider that when you write a book, you're possibly reaching tens of thousands of people who've never known about you. If you're in an interview, same thing. And if you do 10 interviews and there's 1,000 people out there, do the math. Learn to do it correctly, even if you need to get coached about how to. I have programs that'll get you there quickly. And or align with somebody who's going to get you set up for these things. The rate of success I know about people who do this, it's exponential. It is the greatest way to connect with your tribe. So even if there's something in your space about it, either it's not knowing or put me in the game, coach, kind of thing.
I love that. Put me in the game, coach. You hit that nail on the head, Debbie.
There's somebody out there who can help you. And if it's me, it's my pleasure. But just know that visibility is exactly that. It's for you to finally be seen and heard. Let your business be known and your message be known. It is time.
I love that. And it is so, so true, so important, and so exciting. As we increase our visibility, it's not about us. And this is, ladies and the gentlemen who follow us, increasing our visibility isn't a personal thing. It's to reach and impact more people. So whatever your message, your product, what you stand for is about. If you stand for a charity, great, a nonprofit. It's whatever your stand for is about, to expand that platform and get more people to make a bigger difference. And by not doing it, you're not just holding yourself back, you're holding the whole movement back.
Yeah. So, and if you were put here for great purpose, and I believe that
we are,
right? What would that be like for people to know about you? And listen, it can be, I don't know, not everyone's a writer, so don't worry about, I have to do a book. I so don't believe that. I believe you do what you do because it's in your call. But if it's a book, then write it. Get a book coach, accountability coach is going to help you learn how to write a page turner. Do a bestseller launch. Start being interviewed. Be visible so you can actually create your dream. That's ultimately what it's about, is creating your dream. What's next? Are you ready to do workshops, retreats? Do you want new clients? Do you want to be on stage? Do you want to travel? Whatever it is, you can do it, but actually the visibility affords you the open door to get there very easily and become a go-to expert in your field. And people, if you want, by the way, the visibility strategy session, I will absolutely, it's a $500 value, and I will absolutely, to this audience, offer it for $97. And it would be, my pleasure to show you all the places that are being missed and all the ways you can do it. And I give you a lot of actionable items that, trust me, large and small, are going to create great change in your space.
So what I'm hearing Debbie invite you to is to play a bigger game your way. So taking Debbie up on this offer allows you to play a bigger game, increase your visibility, increase your platform, create a bigger movement. If you could do just one thing that will increase it, how many people will you touch and make a difference? And that's what this is about, ladies and gentlemen, expanding your impact, making a difference, and owning your success. So Debbie, how can people connect with you?
Twitter, Google+, Instagram, LinkedIn. Go to my name. First and last are spelled different. Debbie is D-E-B-B-I. There's no E, it's Debbi. D-E-B-B-I. And Debbi Dachinger, the last name is Austrian. So it's spelled D-A-C-H-I-N-G-E-R. Facebook is Dare to Dream Radio and TV. And of course, my website, easy peasy lemon squeezy, DebbiDachinger.com. Again, DebbiDachinger.com. And if you like inspiration, I've got a YouTube channel, and that's Deb on the Radio.
And I was fortunate to be a guest of Debbie's on the radio. If you didn't catch the spelling, don't panic, people. Everything is in our show notes. All of Debbie's contact, how to connect with her, how to reach her, the correct spelling of her name. The only thing you have to do is actually to take the action. And that's what we encourage you here at Her Success Story. Remember, if you could take one action a day, 3 smart things you do to move your life forward every day. If that's a career, if it's a business, if it's a nonprofit, whatever you stand behind, do 3 things that will move you forward and identify them. So thank you for being here, Debbie. I can't thank you enough. I know you're speaking tonight. You're going to rock the floor. I know that. And I cannot thank you enough for taking a few minutes out of a busy day and a day that you're on stage to join us here at Her Success Story.
Oh, it's an awesome pleasure. Thanks, Ivy.
Remember, Her Success listeners, you want to subscribe so you are on top of the content, on top of more great interviews, and don't miss a beat with Her Success Story. See you next time.